How did you know I was in? I didn't even text you that I was in the meeting.
Prepared.
Were you just sitting there waiting and then like, oh, look.
Actually, I was logged into my school Zoom first, and I was just sitting there like, I was like, oh, this isn't the Zoom. Okay.
All right. Well, what's good, everybody? Welcome to I think it's episode 8 now of Slop Talk, and we are finishing up week 3. Week 3 in the house. It's been a fast few weeks here, and we are now at the point where we have played the POV and had our eviction notice served. So we will just rewind this a little bit, go back to the POV episode, and at that point we are playing. See, I'm not mixing everything up with the HOH that just happened. So the POV. What was the POV contest, Danny?
The POV was the
See, I'm not the only one. It was eventful week.
It's the bowling one, right?
The bowling one. That's it. The spinny bowling one. That's right. Bowl arena. First off, I need to get off to a good start with my home girl, Sarah Beth.
Oh, she's your home girl now.
Yeah, well, she was my home girl, and she was a fly. She looked like a fly girl. She was trying to be a fly girl from In Living Color.
Yeah.
But my home girl, Sarah Beth, was, as much as she's a voice actor, she wasn't really pulling off the 90s hip hop, MTV, MTV, what is it? Yo MTV Raps, voice going on too well. But she did definitely try. I give her the effort. You get an A for effort, Sarah Beth. A for effort. But so we have Bowl Arena, which the contestants have to spin 15 seconds to make the little thing drop down, and then they have to go and roll balls and knock down the numbers that aren't in the room number. Yeah. And our first contestant that gets picked for her choice, Britini.
Still crying.
And makes a horrible decision and goes straight for Brent. I understand like the strategy in it. Like if she got Brent out, then she had a better chance in the long run to get either herself or somebody who would help her win.
But you're gonna take a healthy Brent in the beginning. Like, don't you want to be him to be a little dizzy and like? What do we know?
No, 100%. I was like, when she was like, I want to take on Brent. I was like, why would you do that? And it was edited very well to where it seemed like she was about to win. And then first off, Brent couldn't find his bearings the whole time.
That would have been me though. I don't know. The spinning games, I would have been barfing too. But yeah, he was a mess. He was like
tripping over the couch and then out of bounds and then back to where he was spinning with a bowling ball. I'm like, Brent, like, bro, like you got to know that you're not even looking at pins at this point. You're just like roaming around the Big Brother house. But Brent did win the first round, and then it goes on, and Xavier gets the second pick, and Xavier, smart man, picks now a tired Brent.
Yes.
And Brent ends up throwing up in a bucket because he is way too dizzy and way too motion sick to actually win this competition, and Xavier wins. So
now when you're spinning, are you supposed to like keep like direct, like you're supposed to have like to focus, you have to have a focus spot when you're spinning, right, to prevent the dizziness?
I think that's it. I think it's like if you just let your eyes spin, then it is worse. But if you like try to keep your eyes to come back to a focus point every time you spin around. Like it's not that bad. I
Why
have
don't
no
you
idea.
close your eyes?
I guess close your eyes would help. Close your eyes might help. I don't think they're counting in their head though. So the whole 15 seconds until the drawbridge comes down. That's the thing, right? You have to make sure once that thing comes down, you get going.
Sometimes when I watch these power videos or like any of the challenges, I kind of like put myself in that position. Like, what would I do? And I was thinking, I was like, why don't they just close their eyes? Or why don't they just spin really slowly? Like I know that like the faster you spin, the faster you can get to the challenge. But then if you think about it, if you spin slowly and you're not so dizzy, then you can like do the challenge a little bit better. But
Yeah, that's right, because it's 15 spins, not 15 seconds, right?
yeah.
Yeah, I guess you could spin slower. I mean, if you spin so fast where you get the 15 seconds done quickly, you're just going to be extremely dizzy. So I guess, yeah, a strategy would be go a little bit slower. Um, I think it's all time. I think it's all you want to be the first one up to the thing. And nobody really knows. I mean, people don't sit at home and like, I'm gonna play Bowl Arena in my backyard and be like, okay, well, I know I get super dizzy, so I'm not going fast. So I think that's one of the reasons. I don't think we need to run down the rest of the games, right? I mean, that's basically the block that just got eliminated in the first two rounds, right? I mean, everyone else gets eliminated, and it ends up being Christian and Xavier, which is perfect for Xavier because that means no matter who wins, nobody's coming off the block, right? I mean, that's what Christian continuously said, and Xavier continuously said, and then ends up Christian wins, and so everybody knows internally, you know. Nobody's coming off the block. The votes are staying the same.
Yeah.
But that
Brent would like to think otherwise.
that was I was about to say, which is a great transition, great segue into the fact that Brent is saying this worked out exactly the way he wanted it because he has the votes and he is not going home. He has the votes to send Brittany home and totally blindside Xavier, and Xavier's going to be thrown off guard by how many votes for Brent to stay is.
He's the most confident person I've ever seen that was like on the block before. He's so full of himself and he's so sure of himself. But I mean, good editing these episodes because I was dying laughing like the whole time, just a bunch of stuff that we'll go over, but particularly in this moment where Brent is like, thinks it's his idea and he goes up to Kylan and all of them and is like, hey, I have this plan. Don't use the veto on me. Like, whatever you do, just don't use the veto on me. And then Kylan, if you see his face, he's like he wants to bust up laughing, but he keeps a cool face and he's like, all right, man, if that's what you want.
I mean, Derek X and he kept telling, Derek X and Hannah are on Brent's team. This whole time, Brent thinks they're on his side, and so he just kept telling them like, just keep the votes the way they are. This is gonna work out perfect. And then next week we're gonna win HOH, and we're gonna take one of them out. Like this is the way this is gonna play out. Like this couldn't have happened. This couldn't have worked out better for us. And in a sense, he's actually right because if he says us and he means the majority between the three of them, then 100% he's right because Derek X and Hannah want Brent out. So,
well, Brent is highly intelligent, self-proclaimed,
highly intelligent. You're so basically everyone misjudges him because of the way he looks. But don't.
It's distracting because
it's distracting.
People are like, oh no, he's a meathead. But he's highly intelligent
and see
highly intuitive.
I think I said this on week 2. This is actually exactly what Frenchie was talking about. This I mean, outside of Big Brother, he might be an extremely smart guy.
Sure.
I don't think they edited it to where he seemed more confident than he is. So I think kind of that attitude plays out outside of the house. Not saying it's bad or anything, but if Frenchie was really wanted to get out a meathead, it would have been Brent. Like that, I think that's the closest thing to a meathead that you could get in this house would have been Brent.
Yes.
So
he just talks a lot of shit, basically. I mean, play back my initial whatchamacallit?
Our preseason episode.
Episode, yeah.
Yeah,
My first thoughts on Brent, and I was right.
yeah, 100%. We kind of had that feeling going in. Definitely fits the bill. So all week Brent isn't even lobbying for votes. He's just going around the house like it's a normal week.
Yeah.
And I want to say Britini kind of got wind of that, but she knew that everybody wanted him out, so she was even like, I just have to play it cool, lay low, and just stay out of everyone's way, and this will play out perfect. I don't have to worry about anything. And that kind of made the eviction episode a little boring. Because there was the tense part where Brent caught Hannah and Derek X talking on the lounge chairs, and there was a little bit of pause there, a little bit of suspicion, but then they covered it up, and that was about as exciting as the eviction.
Yeah, I think the most exciting part of the Power of Veto episode was, I mean, all the stuff that didn't really apply to Brent per se. It was more like Azah feeling pissed, and more Azah's in a moral dilemma, and Tiffany's like, are we going to kick her out of the cookout because she's just unreliable? She's an emotional player. I thought that part was interesting because I was like, oh gosh, here we go. The cookout is such a solid alliance if they let it, but I'm very confused with their alliance because it's like, in alliance, you're supposed to tell each other the play-by-play of everything's happening. What are your thoughts? What's the plan of the week? What's our ultimate goal and things? And people don't know. Like, you hear Big D like, what's happening? I don't understand. And Azaz's like confused, and Xavier's not telling them what's happening. But like in your alliance, you want to have that trust, right? But even Tiffany said she was having second doubts of Azah, and Azah's people are losing respect for Azah because she's just like, I feel bad for Britini. I don't know if I could be part of, this alliance, and it is a game of betrayal. And so, I mean, I don't think Azah is going to last that long. What do you think?
I It's exactly that. So the already the cookout has an official member that they didn't even confirm until almost eviction, which would be Hannah. They were like, "You're good with, what's going on here, right? Like you're in with us, like And she was like, "Oh yeah, 100%, we're here." And what? That they formed the cookout and didn't even confirm that Hannah was part of it, right? Yeah. And then you do have Tiffany and Derek F, who are kind of not Tiffany, but Azah and Derek F, who are part of the cookout, but yeah, they're kind of like on the outskirts. So
they're still loyal to their own personal team, which I don't know. They need to figure out, are they going to be loyal to their team, or are they going to be loyal to the cookout?
Yeah. I mean, and that's just it, right? That's how the team thing plays against the whole traditional big brother alliance thing, right? It's like you have a team who technically has your back and plays every week for your safety, to the point where you gotta have to decide, like, where's your loyalty stand? Am I going to stick it out with these 3 people, or am I going to go with these other 5? And
Azah and Derek on the same team?
No, yeah. Azah and Derek are on the same team.
What's the problem?
The problem is they love Britini so much that they can't fully go on board with the cookout's plans. But there's 3 main players in the cookout, which I think they need to make a different alliance, or at least a final 3. And that is Tiffany, Xavier, and Kylan. And they are basically making the decisions and deciding the moves. And they're limited on the choices. We said it already, is like Xavier didn't have that many choices this week between his team being safe and the cookout. There's 3 people that he could have pick for, besides Derek X, because he's part of the Royal Flush. But other than that, there's 3 people he could put up, and that's who he put up the 2 that he thought was the best to put up.
But Azaz's already talking about, oh, maybe we can do something, form something with Britini, and I'm like, that's the worst idea that you could do.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I
don't know.
Yeah, she's definitely Yeah, definitely emotional. She's definitely playing off of the people she became closest with immediately in the house, and that and that all plays into the teams. Is she spent time with Derek F, Frenchie, and Brittany, and now anytime one of those or any one of those people are in jeopardy, uh, she has like this internal struggle on how to play this game, and
Yeah.
which goes back to what we were saying last episode. What game did these people think they signed up for? Right? I mean, what did you think you were playing? This isn't
Yeah.
checkers, I mean,
$750,000. People will understand if you're an asshole for like a day. Like,
and I swear,
how many times do we watch a season and then people have like the worst like relationship? They hate each other, they're moral enemies, and it's like the final episode and they end up voting for their like worst enemy because they played a good game.
well, their worst enemy on the show, right?
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
You hear about it when they do like the all-star cast or like the reunion episodes or whatever, or like when people get together. All these people, most of these people stay in touch with each other. Like they're, we're the season, we're the season 19 alumni, so they're like, they stay close, and at least I want to say at least text or email each other every once in a while. So I could definitely see how some of them are closer to others, obviously. But outside the house, it's totally different. Like I'm outside the house, I'm not against you for $750,000. Like, yeah, let's be friends after the season's over and I've won my 750,000. Like maybe I'll take you to breakfast, but I, on the show, let's drink our protein powder, let's put some water in our shaker bottle, and let's get to the games, and
Yeah. At
let's
the
play
end of
this
the
through.
day, it's a game.
Yeah,
No one and offended anyone. No one was like, you know, said things that were, unforgivable. It's nothing like that. It's just a game.
yeah,
Betray people.
yeah. And if you guys don't follow Big Brother on their Instagram, they posted a video of Xavier actually apologizing to the families of Brittany and Brent, um, and let the families know it's nothing personal. It's just a game. He thinks both of those people are wonderful people, and outside of the house, they're great people. It's just a game, and I have to make choices in here
Sure.
that play the best game for me. So, if the people are taking it so seriously, like Azaz, she's taking it too serious. She's taking it personal. She's taking it like these are like Brittany is one of her 400 cousins, and it's just not going to play out well.
It's like she's never seen the show before.
Yeah, yeah,
I don't I you have to I'm not a mean person. I feel sorry for them and I'm in this moral dilemma and I don't know how to get out of it and it's like, okay, then you need to send yourself home because I don't
mhm.
want to watch you deal with it and this is not the game for you.
Well, she's gonna end up sending herself home by ending up on the block, for
Yeah.
honestly. And
Yeah.
whether it's she self omits herself to the block like she almost did with Xavier, or she just ruffles so many feathers with all this emotions that all these emotions she's going through, that she ends up on the block. I feel like this week is the week where she's gonna step out of line. She's gonna go off on somebody because emotionally she can't handle the game.
Yeah.
So
She's gonna blow up. When someone like that, it just, when they're very vocal and they, stand up for, what they believe in and you're in a house, you're in the situation where you can't say much because you're gonna blow someone else's game or you in your own game up, like you get to a point where you're just like, I can't even, it's not even worth it to me.
yeah, exactly.
So anyways, we get to the eviction episode.
Eviction episode. I'm so sad. No rap from Britney. She started off, and I mean, I was like, for anyone who's seen 8 Mile, I was like in the crowd at that last rap, and I was like ready to go. She did 2 lines, and she said, "No, I'm not gonna rap."
But
And
the rest of the thing rhymed. It was like it was her rap, but she just didn't rap it. It was like a poem.
I know, but
Rhymed.
like if Eminem gave a poem on 8 Mile, he would have been booed out of the theater. So I mean, it was a disappointment. I wanted the rap.
But what was interesting, more interesting than Britney rapping, was how Julie started the episode. So she was talking about being blindsided, but she said something very different that she usually doesn't do. She says, Little does Brent know it's him that he's the one that's being blindsided. Like she already told us he
Yep.
was being eliminated.
I actually caught that too when the episode first started. You see the block, and she gave it away. She gave it away on the, and I don't know if it was the teleprompter or her cards or that was her just ad libbing along, but I don't think she's ever. Yeah.
But even the edit of the eviction episode was a little bit different. It wasn't focused on what happens before the eviction. I mean, it was everything that was shown was before the eviction, but they focused on more on, okay, so what's going to happen next week? What's the plan for next week? It wasn't like, oh, what Brent's figuring it out. What can we do? There's no one second guessing themselves. Like it's already been decided, and let me add more fluff to the episode.
Listen, Brent already decided he was going home by not lobbying to anybody.
He started the mafia.
Yeah, yeah. I don't even know where the graphic of the showmances and all that jazz is gonna go up during this episode. I'm not even gonna put the mafia on it. I don't know why that was a thing.
They're like, what should we have a name? And he's like, the mafia, and everyone's just like, yeah, that's cool. That's such a good name. Like everyone was just like not into it.
So I swear I counted. I know I counted incorrectly, but I swear I only counted an even number of votes. So when Julie said, Xavier, you won't vote, I was like, well, what if there's a tie? And then obviously I was incorrect, everyone. There was 11 votes. So yeah, so Xavier didn't get to vote if there was a tie, and doesn't really need it because, like Danny said, 11-0. I don't even think he had time to process, because the way he looked, I feel like even after she said his name, he still thought he was safe.
It wasn't like it was just like, with 11-0 votes, Brett, you are evicted from the house. And he's just like, oh, okay.
Yeah, like I guess I gotta go now. That's unexpected.
Yeah. And I think Brett's an idiot. He's just an idiot, because there's one clip in this episode where I know he's a complete idiot, and he was talking about his dad. And I mean, rest in peace to his pops, because he got me choked up in the beginning of the season talking about his dad. But he says, and I quote, let me see. He says, you guys, if it wasn't for my dad, I probably wouldn't be here. Like, really? Like, yeah, you probably wouldn't be here if it wasn't for your dad.
I
know what he meant. Like, to be on Big Brother and play the game, but how they were talking about it is like, oh yeah, they're like, oh, what was your dad like? He's like, if he's just talking about life in general, but just how he said it, I was like, no, dude, like be more specific. Be like, I wouldn't be playing this game if it wasn't for my dad. But just how he's like, I wouldn't be here if it wasn't for my dad.
And he was so shell-shocked when the interview with Julie. By the way, this is the longest post-eviction interview. 100%.
Cut to a commercial.
Yeah, 100%. You're right. They had to fluff up this episode. Like, there was probably no extra footage to cut to get to this episode.
Talking about it.
Because they evicted him, I want to say, at 30 minutes in, and they had to waste another like 15 minutes of this interview with Julie.
Yeah.
And I was like, is this thing going to end? Like, why are they talking?
Happening?
Yeah. I was like, why are they talking to this idiot for so long? Like, oh my goodness. And I want to say he thought he was taking the high road with everything he was saying, but it just added back into the Brent legacy. It's he's like, I played a smart game. Like, no, bro, you're out in week 3. It wasn't that smart of
the threat from the very beginning.
Like, yeah.
No, you weren't.
Yeah. So it was a struggle to get through his interview. I actually got up and started to do things around the house while he was doing it, because after about the first 5 minutes, I couldn't take it anymore. I'm like, why are we still on this guy?
I was waiting for Julie to say, hey, if there's a chance you might get back in the house, is that something you're interested? That's something she was going to throw us for a loop, because they kept like, okay, we're going to take a break and then we're going to talk to him. Like, what? Okay. I was like, there's going to be a big announcement. Nope.
Yeah.
Nope.
Yeah. Actually, I was just waiting for Julie to be like, and for the rest of my interview, go to Paramount Plus and or the Big Brother Instagram, and let's get back into the house for the HOH because I just wanted it to end. And so finally we get rid of Brent, not just out of the house but off of the TV, and then we get back into the house, and they are about to start the HOH competition, where it is a puzzle challenge, and you have was it 15 seconds? I think it was 15 seconds to try to put together puzzles as much as possible, and then you have to switch out and hit a buzzer to reset the clock. If you don't hit it in time, your team is out, just done. And so that added a great element to the whole, like having to figure out the puzzle and getting back, because obviously you don't want to eliminate too fast, and added a lot of screaming in this episode. There was a lot of you have 3 seconds, and just like people were running on
a flower. No, it's more like a banana. No, the white part. No, and you're just like, oh god.
There was one part where Kylan, I heard him clearly yell, "No, like a shoe," and I'm like,
what does that even
mean? What puzzle are you doing, bro? Like a shoe. Anyways, so they go through the whole puzzle thing, and lo and behold, the Team Kings come out again on top, which poses a problem for Xavier, because the Kings want to get out Hannah. Hannah and who was the other target?
Whitney.
Hannah and Whitney. So I think Xavier's all on board for Whitney. Obviously, he doesn't have many choices to go off of. When he was HOH, Whitney would have probably been one of the other pawns, as long as he could get Brent off. But Hannah is technically now an official member of the cookout, since it's been confirmed with the cookout. And this is when it starts. You have a big alliance, and who is expendable from that alliance, because you can't take all 6 people with you. Like I said, I feel like Tiffany, Kylan, and Xavier should just right now sum up a final 3 deal.
You gotta start trimming the fat.
Yep.
You gotta start, who do you not care about? The Kings are strong. They're strong. They all like each other.
Yep.
And I think that also helped the HOH challenge, is they all work together because they like each other. They have the same common goal for the most part. And whereas everyone else is like, oh, there's someone on my team that I don't like, or my allegiance is not to my team, it's to the Royal Flush, or it's to the cookout. So I don't know. No, I don't know.
I want to say,
win. How does Christian win?
Because he was the last person to put the puzzle piece on. Okay. That's the only. Yeah, okay. That was the only reason why. That was the only reason.
Okay, because I missed that part, and they're like, Christian's a new, and I was like, how do they determine who? Okay, because he was the last.
Yeah, he was the person to put the last piece on and finish the puzzle. That's the only reason. That's the only reason why he won the HOH, was because he was the one on the stage at the time. So I definitely think we're in for a good week. What we were talking
interesting.
What we were talking about with Azah, I hope that saves Hannah, because I think she has a decent game. I think she reads people pretty well, and I'd rather see her.
She took responsibility for Brent going home. If you listen to her interview, whether she's right or wrong, she did have play in it for sure. But she was like fully confident. She's like, "Oh yeah, I'm the one that sent him home." So.
Yeah, no, 100%. And she said that to his face.
Yeah, I mean, some of those goodbye messages, I always cringe a little bit, because it's like, come on, like, he's out, be a little bit kind. But I mean, he must have been like so annoying for them to just keep saying mean things. And Derek X was smart. He kept it like super respectful, just, hey man, like, it was just, I couldn't save you, whatever, which is a smart game to play, in case you never know what happens in with the guests that leave. You, especially if they're in the jury, you don't want to say anything mean in Britini Bridges or anything like that. But Hannah was savage. She's just like, yeah, you were super annoying and we got rid of you. And I was like, oh, that kind of sucks, but whatever.
Yeah, yeah, a little, little mean on her. Not even a little. She was
I
super
know.
mean on her message. She went in hard on him and
Yeah.
let him know that she felt a certain way about him and his attitude, and that's the reason why he went home. Um, but I think the attitude we were talking about with Azah, if she does end up blowing up this week at somebody, that might help Xavier with his internal struggle of putting Hannah up, because if she does blow up or start like going off on people and exposing people's games and alliances, the cookout might just be like, that's our first martyr
Yeah.
is Azah. Like, put Azah up and Whitney, don't worry, Azah's the target. Like, did you see what happened on Thursday? You know, that kind of thing. So
Mhm. Yeah.
uh so yeah, I'm looking forward to this week. Like I said, it was worst case scenario for the cookout, but this, like, now that the not even the fat, just now that an initial trimming is done, now it gets into the meat of things, because everybody is basically in an alliance right now. And actually, other than a showmance, Alyssa and Christian aren't in an alliance. They're just,
Chrysalis.
oh, is that what it is? Chrysalis?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I had to listen to their bed conversation. I played it like 3 times because they were whispering, they were trying to be quiet, but it was hard for the viewers to listen to. I even had the closed caption to see like, what the hell are they saying? And then he's just like, yeah, our showman's Chrysalis. And he said, did you hear the part where they're like, America's probably gonna hate us?
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
then she's like, yeah, probably.
Yeah. And then the best part was where she's like, this is the worst idea ever. Someone is just gonna walk in and we won't even
Yes.
be able to see.
Yes.
And then immediately
Yeah.
Xavier goes, "Oh, come on, guys, it's my
Yeah.
room."
Yeah. That was so funny. But I mean,
uh,
they don't bug me too much. I don't know if it's because, we've been dealing with them since week 1,
mhm.
and then Frenchie's probably just like rolling around, just like being like, I freaking told you. Like, I think I've just, you know, we've seen them since week 1 together. So I'm kind of like, okay, whatever. I'm not shocked, I guess.
Yeah, yeah, they don't shock me too much. It was a little surprising to go from the episode, the second week or the first week when they were like, Alyssa's like, no, I'm not in a showmance, to now they're making out in Xavier's bed, you know. So
I know.
that was the worst part for me. But as a showmance, nah, it's not that bothersome.
What do you think of Big D calling out Xavier for being a lawyer?
Oh,
Multiple
oh,
times.
and he
Multiple
and
times.
he kept saying, and they probably don't get like these things ahead of time, right? They probably don't know who is who ahead of time.
No, I
So
have no idea.
so he's just saying off of looks.
Mhm.
He's like, I could see Xavier being a lawyer, which is surprising because just off of looking at his picture on the wall, you're like, he could be a lawyer. He probably is a lawyer. Man, if you're a lawyer and a model, I was like, bro, shut up.
Yeah. And even Xavier was like, dude, you're on my team. Like, why are you trying to? And that's the point. That's like, one of the things too that I've noticed. I'm like, they don't act like they're an alliance. Like,
No.
I feel like they're like, oh, we respect each other. We have each other's back when it comes down to it. But it's one man team. It's just me.
Yeah.
I only care about myself.
Yeah. Yeah.
But that was funny though.
It's not too much of a alliance, like in traditional, I guess, in past Big Brother seasons,
Mhm.
that conversation would have taken place like in the HOH room between Derek and Xavier, right? Like, hey, I have to ask you something. Like, I was just looking at your picture. Are you really a model? That like one-on-one kind of thing, not at the dinner table while everyone's just like walking around and just screaming out, "You could be a lawyer, yeah, man. You better not be lying."
I know I have a few friends that are attorneys, and I don't know. I don't feel like I would see a picture of them and be like, "Oh yeah, attorney vibes."
Yeah, yeah,
Like, and Kylan, Xavier, he doesn't really look, sound, act like. I mean, again, we're not in the house with them 24/7 like they are, but
hmm
even Xavier's like, "Oh, because I'm articulate and."
yeah, yeah. But just from the clips that I've seen, he is very well spoken. But I mean, it's not like he's throwing out, article numbers and calling out cases and saying, in the case of blah 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 about Roe versus Wade or anything like that. He just sounds like an educated person when he talks, and so
Really, that's the example that you wanted to use.
that's the only one I could think of right now. I swear.
You got to figure out. We got to look up if Xavier is a prosecuting attorney, like they said, or if he does something else.
I'll definitely research because I want to find out too. I think it'd be fun to see what kind of attorney is. I mean, that's all public record, right? I guess. Yeah. So, or at least somebody in the Big Brother blog world has written about it. So,
I'm sure.
Yeah. So we'll see. So interesting week coming up. HOH's crowned. We get to see Christian's room, and I'm sure him. I'm sure Chrysalis.
Oh, they're gonna
They're
moving in.
We're getting that the night vision camera multiple times this next season. So I mean this next episode. So
Alyssa's moving in.
And
people are just gonna be even more aware of their showmance, which it's gonna put a target on them. I kind of have a feeling with this crowd, they're gonna be the type of people that be like, nope, you're in a showmance, time to go.
Yeah. Definitely worrisome if they don't. Wild card. If you get to pull somebody out, switch places with somebody on the winning team, that could definitely be a way to get somebody out. So we'll see. Wild card and the HOH room and wild card is on Sunday. So, so I appreciate you guys all coming out. Again, my co-host Danny. She has some of the best notes on Big Brother I have ever seen.
You can't see. I got to, because I'll forget.
So we had a great week. We hope to see you guys after Sunday's episode. As always, subscribe, ring the bell, comment, like the videos. I think I got up to 1 like last video. Come on, guys, give me one like. More than 1 like, please. That's all I'm saying. I don't think so. So because Danny is not liking our own videos, somebody else out there just hit the thumbs up. Just hit the thumbs up.
We'll give you a shout out.
Yeah. I don't know if I can see who clicks like and give you a shout out, but if you want to comment that you're the other than me, I will definitely give you a shout out. So let me know. But other than that, have a good rest of your weekend, and we'll see you guys after Sunday.
Yeah.
Have a good one. Oh, it's under more.